things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. Ah, heaven has answered our prayers, and has used my daughter's beauty to soften the hard heart of our landlord. It may be that we shall be allowed to stay here in peace and tranquility. Yet in my breast beats the heart of a mother, and that heart seems to whisper, beware, beware. Can there be some danger here for Mary? Oh, a visitor. I wonder who it can be.
I expect it is Edward.
Edward? Edward who?
Mr. Edward Middleton.
One moment, Mary. Tell me, why would Mr. Edward Middleton be calling here?
The young gentleman is calling to see us this evening.
That does not sound to me like the knock of a gentleman.
Please, Mama, may I open the door now?
Very well, Mary.
Mr. Cribbs!
Good evening, ladies.
Good evening, Mr. Cribbs. Won't you step inside?
With pleasure, ma'am. Or rather, should I say, with deep reluctance, for mine is a painful errand.
Not the rent. You promised us 24 hours grace.
And you shall have it. My business concerns not your rent, ma'am, but your daughter.
Well, Mr. Cribbs?
You were expecting to receive a visit from Mr. Edward Middleton?
What if I was?
You probably did not realize when you saw him that Mr. Middleton was half out of his mind. With grief for his late father.
He seems normal enough.
To you, perhaps. Yet, in fact, he scarcely knew what he was saying or doing. He's been like this for days.
You mean then...
I mean that you must not be deceived by any apparent promises or undertaking which he may have made in this abnormal condition.
I don't believe it. It's a lie.
Then where's Edward Middleton now?
Yes, Mary dear. What about his promised visit?
He will come. I know he will come.
He will not come. It pains me to say it, but he lies at my house, prostrate with grief, hearing nothing, seeing nothing.
So we can hope for nothing from him?
Madame, your only hope, as I said this morning, is in me.
Then the cottage? Are we not to stay in our cottage?
I'm afraid not, ma'am. Why, Mr. Middleton stated his policy for the cottage in these very words. We'll throw the rascals out. Oh, keep the honest tenants in and throw the rascals out.
Edward! It is Edward!
Curse it! How did he manage to get here? Ah, Mary, my dear Mary. Miss Wilson, I presume. Mr. Cribbs, sir. How pleasant to see you all. Let us celebrate this happy meeting with a rousing chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll keep the honest tenants in and throw the rascals out. Stickler, what's the meaning of this?
I tried to restrain him, sir, but he would insist on coming out. It was a case of force, Mr. Cribbs. He's bigger than me.
Bah, you fool.
Edward, is it true then, as Mr. Cribbs says, that you have hardened your heart again and we must leave our cottage after all?
Poor old Cribbs, ladies. He's a wonderful fellow, hard worker, honest as the day is long, but between you and me, he's a little stupid. It takes him a long time to grasp an idea. I told him twice, if I told him once. We'll keep the honest tenants in. That's you, Mary, and you, Mrs. Wilson. Ah, and now, Miss Wilson, to business. I have the honour, ma'am, to formally beg leave to have the honour of asking your permission to... where was I? You are on the point of committing a grave indiscretion, Mr. Edward. Stickler, take him home again.
Come along now, Mr. Middleton, sir. Come back to the house and lie down.
No, not until I receive an answer. Mrs. Wilson, I seek your daughter's hand in matrimony.
This is rather sudden, Mr. Middleton. Perhaps you would give me a little time to consider?
Certainly, ma'am. Take plenty of time. 5 minutes, if you wish. Oh, Stickler, my dear fellow. Help me outside, if you please.
This way, Mr. Middleton, sir. That's it. Hold up just a moment now. Easy does it, sir. Easy does it.
I may yet turn this scene to my advantage. Ladies, I would give much to have spared you this disgusting sight.
I can well believe that, sir.
I feel not disgust, but pity at the sight of Edward's illness.
Illness? Can it be, Mary, that you still do not realize the truth? My previous statements about Mr. Middleton's condition were only a harmless prevarication to shield you from the sordid reality.
I don't know what you mean, sir.
You must excuse her, Mr. Cribbs. She has led a sheltered life. Mary, dear, it is all too clear that Mr. Middleton's symptoms are produced by...
Not by excess.
No, by alcohol. The poor fellow is a slave to the demon rum.
You mean he is,
A drunkard, ma'am. Yes, a drunkard. Or soon will be if my efforts can make him so.
And this was the man who sought my daughter's hand in marriage?
Yes, ma'am. That sun-slobbering caricature of a man did seek your daughter's hand. Mary, dear, what would your life be like married to that object? Oh, let the honest landlord in and throw the rascals out. You had best consider my offer, Mary, dear, while there's still yet time. Cribbs, what's all this hobnobbing and whispering? What's the meaning of it? Nothing, my dear sir, nothing. Just comforting the young lady. All right. Now you, Mrs. Wilson, what's your answer?
My answer to what?
To my proposal. Have you settled on a date for the wedding?
I don't quite...
Somewhat stuck up and high and mighty, aren't you, madam? Now listen to me. I want an answer here and now, or it's out you go. Cribbs, I'm beginning to suspect that they're not honest tenants after all.
Oh, dear. This is most embarrassing. I don't know what to think. Mary, dear, what do you say?
Here's what I say, Mary dear. Let's not wait for the doddering braid of old age to make up its mind. Let's decide for ourselves. Come, my beauty. A kiss. Miss Wilson, we shall remove the wretched young man. Mary, I am sure you will ponder well on this sordid scene, but do not ponder too long. Come, Stickler.
Good night, Mr. Cribbs. Mary, dear, I repeat my question. What do you say?
What can I say? To save us both from destitution, I am forced to marry. But which am I to marry? That old man whose very touch makes me shrink in horror, or merciful heavens, the drunkard?
Mary, Mary, my child, my child.